Welcome back into another Dragon Ball Super Card Game video. Today, I'm not alone. I have another guest. It's been a while. This is Chris from not only, I don't know how to say it, UniX DBS. The link is in the description below. I'll put our names here. What's up, Chris?
It's just going pretty well. We're right before Nats. We got a lot of stuff going on. You pronounced it exactly the way it was supposed to be pronounced. Fun fact, I love the TOP arc, and so for the most part. And so Universe X, it's supposed to be Universe X Dragon Ball Super, but I shortened it to Uni X DBS so it wouldn't be such a mouthful. Now it's kind of more like Uni X TCG, but you know what? It is what it is. You know, throw up a little X for no reason. And I'm happy to be here. It has been a while.
If anything, we're going to jump right into it. I mean, you saw the title. This is the Set 19 archetype slash leader slash pre-nationals. I don't know what I'm going to title it, but either way, we're going to go through it. And today we have a lot of stuff, a lot of leaders. And we have pretty much all of the leaders from Set 19 put out here into a lot of different tiers. Well, not really a lot. I think this is just 5. Plus some of the meta picks and stuff that has been represented in previous events. I think we just had the Zenkai Cup, we had the San Diego Regional, and a couple of miscellaneous tournaments here and there, and then the anniversary box Z leaders from there as well. Yeah. Oh yeah. We should probably explain the tier lists. Tiers, huh? We have national finals, which means this is this leader or archetype, whatever it may be, might show up in the finals for nationals. So obviously it's going to be in December, first week, etc. This got moved. This is actually supposed to be top 16 finals. So you'll probably see this in top 4, top 8, top 16. Usually I do like top 4, or last time I did this was top 4, top 8, but I think top 16 is probably a little bit better. If you're not first, you're last type thing, you know?
Ricky Bobby style.
Yeah, and then rogue decks that aren't really talked about, but have a chance. Locals playable, as in like you should just probably play this casually. And then this should have been, can we edit this? Oh, there you go. G tier. Used to be D tier, as in like don't bother, but we decided to put it to G tier, as in the green designer D tier. Whoever's designing green probably designed this leader too. So
yep, like if you looked at all the effects and you didn't know what it looked like, you'd assume it was a green deck.
yeah,
That's essentially what green tier means. And also, just to have a disclaimer, we are not predicting what's going to be in the finals and top 16 of nationals. It's just more like those tiers. Just think about it this way. If you were to hear that X deck was in the finals for nationals, you wouldn't be surprised. That's what that tier means. Like, you just be like, all right, I'll look at that deck list later. I expected it to be there. Like, you wouldn't be spitting out your cereal hearing that, I don't know, what's one of these decks that shouldn't be there? Black Movie Super Saiyan 3 Broly up in the finals. Like, that's one where you'd be like, hey, what? Like, you need to know the spice.
Hey, bro, if you don't know the spice on that one, you know what I'm saying? No, it's garbage. So the first one that we're going to go through is Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. We're just going to go through the line. I don't think this, unless you want to go through the set 19 stuff first. I'm cool with that.
I can do it all in order. It doesn't make me no difference.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think we do the set 19 stuff first. I think that we'll get that out the way and then we'll do it in order from there. So, Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta. So I'm pretty sure this is right up here. I'm pretty sure that's right up there. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Yeah. Oh. Oh, I'm an idiot, dude. I kind of, you know what? I'm just gonna get this out of there. I'm just gonna get it out of there. Or do you have any qualms about that? Let's just put that out there.
Look, it's got the bias. It's literally got the bias. It is already in its winner's form. It's kind of weird to me. I'm going to say right now, like, I could easily see it being in nationals finals, but if I had to just like hard put it in anything, I'd automatically put it in top 16, because I think that after the hits, I think it took more so than Sin, and definitely more so than Vegito. It took like the most hits from the ban list happening. It lost a lot of its defense. And so now it's kind of a glass cannon. The only difference is, like, if you go first against it with like Slug, you almost completely shut it down. If you establish Slug before they can establish their 8-drop Gogeta, you shut them out of their biggest bomb. So it's like, I could see Super Saiyan 4 be in the finals, but I think that out of the big 3, in my opinion, red decks, it has the most holes. So I'm fine with it being in nationals finals. I probably put it in like top 16 for me personally. And I think a couple of them would be there.
You know, I would say like post ban list, I can kind of see that with for that. I think pre ban list, there's no doubt about it that
Whew.
this was going to be the finals, right? With Broly getting hit, with Violent Rays getting hit as well, and technically, Vegeta was a slight hit. I don't know if that was like. I feel like what they did to it now is what they should have been printed, but Broly and Violet Rays are really good tools for this deck. And you know what? We're just putting the we'll put it in the top 16. I think there are enough answers. And when you're talking about slug, you're talking about either the 3-drop slug, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like you take away the draw power from it, you take away some of the defensive options, then you have exactly what you have, which is a glass
Yep.
cannon. Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna
you just have to answer the big boy, the big Gogeta.
100%. Like I'm gonna say something that might rustle a lot of people's jimmies. And despite me not playing Gogeta to me, Super Saiyan 4, Vegeta, and Goku, it feels to me like U7 Gohan 3.0. Most of your deck is filtering, but when you are filtering that much, and especially doing it through combo power, not only are you punching your opponent with a lot of like mass, but you're also seeing your cards at a ridiculous rate. Like you Yamcha your opponent once every turn. You always have Violent Rays until you run out of copies. Like it's a huge thing that you are filtering that much. That's why I love the deck so much. And so with Violent Rays being changed the way it is, Yamcha being limited to one, Resolve Renewed being locked to Vegito, all these things that you had to just pretty much be like, they have it. There's no way they don't have it. Like
Yeah.
they now just don't have it. So that's
Mm-hmm.
that's an
Mm-hmm.
issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely lower the consistency of the deck. Which is also lower the consistency of the deck, and it's also an expectation, right? So like we're saying it's the big bad, and we're saying it's one of the big red threes, or big three that is red. And just knowing that people are gonna have sideboard answers, people are gonna have like a plan or a deck that actually can go against it, and it's one of those things that you have to prepare and just understand before you even go into the nationals. But we can probably talk about this guy a good amount. Don't want to make this too long. Speaking of, before we get into the set 19 stuff, U7 Goku. U7 Goku. Do you feel like it is a contender for the finals in 16? Or do you feel like me, where it's kind of like a rogue deck now? Isn't
I
that
think
weird?
it's I definitely think it's a rogue deck because I think that while it can win games, it definitely can win games. I think more in its aggro condition, like where people weren't running unisons, they were running like the gecko, the invisible dude in
Yeah.
red. Like I think that one has legs, but if you're trying to play it as a mid-range red deck, kind of like it was when it was at its height, I think Sin and Gogeta will just blow you out of the water in terms
Yeah.
of like value.
So now we actually have some of the set 19 stuff here. Um, I don't have too much experience with this, but on paper, it doesn't seem that great. But it did have some like okay generic cards that came with it too. I saw it on paper and I was kind of like, wow, this is a lot of steps to do like one or two things. And it felt like a better version of the Go 10 deck that came out. I don't know if you remember that one. That the one that
Yeah.
came with the triple Kamehameha one. So I was in the locals playable area for that one.
I think it is definitely locals playable. It's but it's either rogue or locals playable. Like basically, if you think of how Trunks and Vegeta and Yellow have their evolve mechanics, and then just make that the entirety of the deck. And the
Mm-hmm.
way the deck works is it's almost like a whole cycle. Like Goku's will search top seven, I think. Trunks just draws, and Vegeta looks from grave. So they both just kind of they all three of them cycle. You're constantly evolving, and you're just cycling through your cards with those. It can be pretty cool, but all of the cards are fairly low impact. You just end up swarming the board. So it's one of those I think rogue picks because you can easily, if you don't run up too many floodgates, you can easily get ran over by it. But I mean, literally Forbidden Power, Nimbus, Dormant Potential, all these things just completely poop on the deck.
Mm-hmm.
And this deck would be a very good playable red deck if half of these red decks on this tier list did not exist. And
Yeah.
that's just an unfortunate thing to say. So yeah, I think locals playable is where it stands right now.
Yeah, that's what kind of feels like it for a lot of like red stuff that comes out. Like, and that's the game's problem at its core sometimes, where you just keep coming out with the archetypes more and more, and if you don't do anything for the previous ones, where either you don't boost them or the previous ones are just better, you just run into that issue every single time. So I do agree with that.
Spoiler alert: most of these red decks that aren't a very select few will end up in the locals playable tier simply because Red got pooped on as a whole. They like nuked Red staples. So
Yeah.
if your archetype was broken, you're fine. But if your
Mhm.
archetype was just solid, but Red had good cards, nah, sorry, dog. Got some
Yeah.
news for you.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about Android 13, but because you mentioned the EX Evolved Goku or EX Evolved Trunks and Vegeta, I actually think that Gogeta is the one that actually has that sort of
It,
mechanic. And
it yeah.
I'm going to have a hot take here. This is a rogue deck, and only because I am a Gogeta sympathizer. Okay, you can put in locals playable. I'm cool with that, but I feel like he has a lot of cool tools. His leader is kind of average, but most of the archetype is pretty easy to use, and it has a lot of barrier removal, and it takes really good care of all of the green tools that it has. And that's not saying much. I don't care, but I like the deck.
so
That's all I say.
so so with me with that deck,
Whatever.
I
You don't
think
have to. Okay, we're moving
oh
on.
no, wait, no,
Okay,
it's
all right, all
nothing,
right,
it's
all
nothing
right,
bad, it's nothing bad,
all
because
right.
I think that was my second to last archetype breakdown. This deck has so many cool cards, and I
Mm-hmm.
think the only flaw with it is that you are 100% dependent on seeing a one drop. And you're like,
Yeah.
well, you can run 4 of each, and then your leader searches. Bro, I had, I think it was the first test hand on that video. I just went 3 straight turns without awakening, without seeing a one drop. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, I'm dead by now. Like, if you don't see the one drops, you don't get your
Yeah,
chain started, and then everything crumbles. But when you do see your one drops,
it's pretty
the
good.
deck has so much fun, like so many fun plays,
Yeah.
interactions, like all these things. The only issue is that it's energy hungry, and
Yeah.
red and green can't afford to be energy hungry. They don't do enough with their energy.
Yeah.
And green got around that by having so many free cards with their unison, but this deck doesn't really have room for a unison. Like, try to build it, try to stay under 50 and put unisons in there. I want
It's
to see
terrible.
what goes on. Yeah,
It's terrible. No, it's bad.
it's
It's
hard.
bad. Don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah, no,
But I like it.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I will say that like both Bulmas help with that. So like the TP
Mhm.
Bulma and the Z Battle Card Bulma are both great cards for it. The Z Battle Card Bulma actually plays a one drop for your deck, so if you can get to that point, it's not too bad. And then the other Bulma searches out the Gogetas, which if they don't have answers to Gogetas, which by the way, red is the best answer for those Gogetas, then they're gonna have a bad time. Oh well, I mean blue is another good answer because they can just bomb deck it. But yeah,
Black is a good answer.
people don't play black, so
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
I guess they can
That's
just
fair.
run Dark Broly. Whatever, Rogue. Moving on to Android 13, the red one. I actually
Nice.
really do enjoy this deck. I really do. I just don't think it has competitive viability. Um, and I say that because I think there are a good amount of answers. I won't say too many answers. A good amount of answers to the things that it wants to do, and I also think that you're sort of trapped in this like you need to do one or two different things that aren't very different from itself, which
Mm.
doesn't lend to itself to be versatile. Does that make sense? Like
I think
if
it
you
does
play it
make
over and
sense.
over again, you know, it's pretty good. I like the deck. I like the deck a lot, but I don't know. I like to hear what you say or you
I mean,
think.
I feel like it has some good interactions. I think it also does lay in the it'd be much more playable if other red decks didn't exist, but it also hits a sore spot for me because every now and then Bandai just likes to look at an archetype, look at a already done, already revisited,
Oh,
already supported
and
archetype,
put in a
and they
red
just go,
another color.
yeah, they just go,
Yeah, yeah,
you will have to survive in the wilderness, and they just throw it in a color that hasn't ever had a card printed for it in
yeah,
18 sets.
yeah,
And this just happened to Android 18 or Android 13. He just falls in
yeah.
this set and he's got no support. Like, what androids outside of the TOP were ever in red? Like, I'm just like, bro, like,
Draftbox
we can't.
17. Draftbox 17. What's up? Like, what's up? You play it from
That's
the one drop.
fair.
There you go.
It
I
just
will.
hurts. I'm just like, bro.
I totally agree. I totally agree. You know, the worst part of it is that the stuff that is supported. So like, you just need an Android 13 leader to do like the pitch and then draw, or the pitch a 14 and a 15, and then they drop one. Those are really cool cards. It's just that you're a Jaro until you awaken. So like, you have to go through the awaken, and then the cards that you have in your hand that you want to use as previous support are pretty much dead until you get to that point. So,
They hurt the boy.
locals
They
playable.
hurt him. They hurt him.
Locals playable. Yeah. Hey, it's your favorite guy. I mean, I
Yep.
love Gohan. I love Gohan. You're a Gohan fan. I'm a Gohan fan, right? But obviously, you're known for liking Gohan quite a lot. You've pretty much won an event with Gohan, right? And people have been looking at you for this Gohan in particular, right? Um,
I
I
cried.
will I will say very quickly, very quickly that I think this deck does have legs. Okay, this deck
Mhm.
has legs. It has a huge ceiling, and what I mean by that is that like the if you look on my camera, the learning curve goes like this for this deck. I don't know if that works. Whatever.
No, it works.
Up here is where you have the potential to like do really well with this deck, and then down here is like, hey, if you make a mistake, hey, it's
Die.
curtains. Yeah, it's curtains.
Like,
And this deck also is the perfect match for the new Gohan SCR, which I love.
oh,
Um,
100%.
and it is
God, I
super
hope I call
strong.
on Friday.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. And I personally think it can end up in top 16 with the right pilot. That's just me.
So okay, I guess my main thing is I'll get the memery out of the way. I cried when I saw this effect get spoiled because we just talked about putting a card like a archetype in a color or whatever and be like, yo, you have no
Yeah.
support here. But they made this leader and they were like, so we're making a Gohan. And it's like, yes. And it's gonna be in blue. Hell yeah. And he's not gonna be able to use any good cards that blue normally has. And it's like, what? Wait, back up, back up. What do you mean it's not gonna and they just put 3 energy. Like lots of people are wondering why it's 3, why it's not 4. It is very clear they did not want you using things like Majin Buu Unison
I think it would be
in this
broken
deck.
if it did. I
Like,
think it'd be
well,
broken.
honestly, it would be because from a construction, like from a like mechanical standpoint, you'd be able to go full tilt aggro and then just have a singular turn where you just decide I'm going to stabilize as a mid-range deck. You just play
Mhm.
Majin Buu, you plus 0 it, you swing with something, you
Yeah.
combo with Z energy, you untap 2 for the turn. You're Soul
Yes.
Striker apparently now, and
Technically three. You can untap all 3 energy technically because you
like
can swing, you can Z energy untap, and then pass turn you untap one and you pass and you untap on their end. Plus you're drawing
yes,
4.
so
Plus yeah, it's just dumb. It's dumb.
your soul you're drawing 4 over that course of a turn. You're literally SS3 almost. Like
Yeah.
it would have become very very dumb. But if that's the case, I'm kind of sitting here like, why didn't you print this leader in any other color? Like if you did not want it to be using cards like that, I think you could have just chosen another color for it. That's my only gripe. But
I think
that
this
being
is
said,
I think this is the correct color. I think this is the correct color.
that being said, I love an aggressive blue deck because blue is just not normally the beatdown color.
Mhm.
And this deck has the ability to do that. Now it's very very tricky. I do agree with Brian. The learning curve is very very tricky for this deck because you see its backside effect and you're thinking that you kind of just want to shotgun down to it, but that's almost like the immediate path to the dumpster. If you're shotgunning the awakening turn to get down to enough cards to draw 3, you're losing probably on turn 4. Like
Mhm.
unless you killed them immediately, which in this day and age is kind of hard. Violent Rays being nerfed kind of made it easier, but despite you being able to go through your cards like this, most red decks like Gogeta is going to have 2 times your hand in
Mhm.
most cases. You might be able to put up a lot of numbers in terms of swings, but they'll be able to combo a lot of numbers. And I think it's very precarious. You have to know what you're doing with this deck. And I think you're riding like a fine line. So I could see it getting in top 16. I feel like it would be that one dude living on a prayer.
Mhm.
It'd be, I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if it got to top 16, but I wouldn't be like that was impossible. I'd just be like, nice.
I
It could have
feel it.
been me, like, but
I
like, no,
feel
like, should have been me, not him. Like,
I think we should have like another tier list of like just be prepared for it or something like that. But like, you know what?
read the cards.
Just
Read the cards.
we'll just throw it as a top 16. It's fine. Whatever. But yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. Hey, Gotenks.
Gotenks
Hey,
is
bro.
very weird.
God damn
Hey,
it.
hold
Okay,
on,
fine.
hold on. Gotenks
All
is
right, all
very
right.
weird. I
Yeah,
think Gotenks is locals playable. When you look at the cards and you put them together,
yeah,
it's really weird because it's not aggro the same way Gohan is,
yeah.
but it's actually just like it just cycles bodies. Like every Trunks gets a Goten, every Goten gets a Trunks, and before you know it, like you just
Mm,
start spitting things on board. I'm actually, just like I felt like Gohan wasn't in the right color, I feel like Gotenks could have been any color but green, because if Gotenks was green, this deck on turn 3 would be able to spit out like 5 swings and then sell Xeno you, because the numbers just add up. Like, I've been looking at it, I've been seeing when it was going to be my next archetype breakdown. This is literally just like you'll get swung on like
A good
4
amount of
times
times.
on like 2 energy, and then you're like, those are all 15Ks. That's kind of annoying. And then they kind of just do it again, and they have access
Yeah.
to a bunch of good super or secret rares right now. Whether you're playing
Hmm.
Hatch, whether you want to go late game to Kaioken, whether you're trying to go extremely aggressive with a new Gohan Beast.
Yeah.
This deck, I don't think people are going to bring it into Nats, but I think there's a lot more that can be looked at it. I want to dive a little bit more into it. I'll have a video up soon, but I think it's local playable right now.
I think so too. I like the archetype. I was memeing a little bit, but I think this is okay. And I think when you start playing against it like 1 or 2 times at least, you're like, okay, yeah, I am getting attacked a lot. Oh, okay, you have the Veku out. Oh wait, you're swinging with the Veku again. Okay, can you stop, please? Can you please stop doing that? That type of
Wow,
thing.
that's a lot of stuff. Let me attack you.
Yeah,
Blue stuff. What?
yeah.
You did play Majin Buu? Oh, come on, stop it.
Right. So I think KO Cannon is probably the better secret rare, just because you can just like continue your plays and you have even more attacks, and just like being able to not answer that, or someone not being able to answer that, is probably be the best place you want to be. But I do agree. I do agree. Cool. And for the sake of time, Broly and G tier.
Yep.
Okay, I wanted to rant about this, but we simply just don't have time for it. I really wanted Broly to work well, right? And a lot of people are trying to convince me that Broly is good. It is not good. It is not good. It is just garbage. I hate this deck. I don't care if it wins Nats. Like, I really don't care. If it wins Nats tomorrow, I really don't care. I still think it's a garbage deck. Do not play this deck. It's so stupid. You do nothing, and you're wasting everybody's time playing it. So please stop.
Sometimes it's just cool things, and you have 5 extra cards in hand and a super combo, and yeah, you feel good.
No, that's garbage. Lord Slug. I think it is like right between these guys right here, right between. I don't think I can confidently say that it's going to hit top 16, right? But I think it's right between these guys. And
I agree.
Yeah,
it's hard to tell. I need to test it more.
Yeah.
I don't know when it's gonna hit my R-type breakdown, but like, it has a lot of critical pressure. And yellow decks are probably the one color in the game right now where you know that the leader can be a 5 out of 10, and the color yellow will carry it to be like at least a 7. So
Yeah.
like, it is kind of one of those things. I think, yeah, you could put it in locals playable right now, but like, look, yellow got access to yellow, it has access to slug package. This deck is actually probably going to search it out extraordinarily well. So that always is going to put it into some weird spaces. So I'd say locals playable, maybe even rogue, because if this deck sees Gogeta all day, it's probably having fairly easy matchups.
You know what? I'm going to put this in rogue just because, I've been talking to, I'm pretty sure Brohan or Ryan Connolly, I'm sure you know him. He's in the group chat, right? He and I were talking a little bit about it, and it's basically King Vegeta in yellow, both green and red. I think it's more akin to green, because it requires you to have certain requirements to do certain things. And with red, King Vegeta, they have similar things. You start at 6, you recover 1, that type of thing. But in red, what am I saying? King Vegeta, King Piccolo. Sorry, Red King Piccolo, where you combo something and then you play out something, right? And Lord Slug, you have to have stuff in your Z energy in order to play certain things for cheaper, and you have an energy requirement. And all the things that you do play, as in like the 1-drops and things like that, you get a lot of board presence, and you have access to a lot of yellow stuff to stop things and to be very annoying. That's what I think this deck is. It's very annoying. But you have to understand where your closers are, and if it can compete against the bigger boys, the things that have already established itself in the meta. So, and I don't think it's there just yet, but I can put it in rogue for that.
I can hit that. I can agree.
I saw Piccolo. I'm gonna be real with you, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna play that. So you can put them anywhere you want. Yeah, I know you've been playing them.
I would definitely put him in Rogue right now. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna front. So
Okay.
here's the thing. Like I said, yellow carries most of your things. Most things can be carried by yellows. Just strength as a card pool. However, past that, most of what yellow needs is a way to close game. They already have gajillion ways to stop your opponent from playing the way they want.
Mm-hmm.
And what this deck is able to do is its swap package. It has a very nice 1-2 combo where you play the 5-drop, and that's a 20k swing if you want it for one. And then you pop it back to the hand for one, and you play an 8-drop. And that 8-drop is either the yellow SR that is 24k. Whenever you swap with this 5-drop, mind you, you're giving something plus 5k and crit. That could be your leader. That could be one of the things you swap into. And so you swap into that thing, and basically the yellow 8-drop is going to have an activate battle. It has barrier, so it's great combined with bond for Lord Slug, but it has an activate battle where you can make the receiver of the attack match the attack, the
Mm-hmm.
original attack. And then at the end of the battle phase, you just completely smoke something through barrier. You just KO any rested battle card through barrier. So
Mm-hmm.
essentially, if they don't get it off the field, they're losing the card. And then the other target is that blue, yellow SR, SPR, Gohan and Piccolo. And that thing attacks twice. If you bring it out with the swap, it's a critical 30k on its first swing that'll draw. And then it's a 25k critical on its second swing. And so you start putting out mad pressure, and that starts from turn 3. And it's a 2 energy wombo combo. So you have all of yellow doing its things, but you start putting out anywhere between 2 to 3 attacks for 2 energy, all above 20k. It's pressure on that. The leader turns into a blocker. This becomes especially ignorant when you start establishing Lord Slug, because just awakening, you get Shinran on the field. Then you put Lord Slug on the field. Your leader becomes a blocker. And you're yellow.
Mm-hmm.
So you have Mecha and all these other things that can add more onto the bond. It is definitely having fun. I'm testing against Sin. I'm testing against Gogeta. I'm testing against Vegito. I put it in rogue tier, and I'll leave it at that for now.
All right. I believe you. That's all I can say. I believe you. I played against it a good amount of times, like a good handful of times. I didn't think it was doing anything particularly crazy, but I think that is probably pilot oriented, and as well as like sequencing, right? So like what are you putting out first? What are you putting out last? And just mitigating that. But cool. All right, we'll see how that goes. I think that's it. Am I right for set 19? Magenta is
Yeah.
like is kind of set 19,
it's
right?
legendary meme tier.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying it's gonna pop off, and I'm just like, I
No.
don't see it.
No, I don't think so. I think it's gonna be the same like tier as Rainbow Bardock.
Dude, the
Even
best
even
play
right now.
in that deck, the best play in Magenta's deck gets ruined by the card that came out alongside of Magenta. It's like you play him with like a full field of villainous, and then you end up procking all the villainesses to discard your opponent's hand. But then if your opponent has already played the Gamma that comes alongside him and bottom decks the card, you can't even get to that point, because every time you discard a card, they'll just draw a card. So you
Mhm.
just essentially swap out their entire hand.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, yeah, no, this is the legendary meme, Sam.
Yeah, I'll have to build this more. I haven't had time to get into it too much, but just paper and playing against it as well, just playing other better decks. I was like, okay, well, this is cool, I guess. But yeah, I'm with you on that one. So I think we can go through anniversary stuff. So the first one is Vegito.
I would put that dude right in. I would not be surprised if he was in the finals. He's so
Baby.
like the
I love
hardest part
Vegito
about
so
him
much.
is surviving the early game aggression.
Yeah.
But you have to know, like, people in general, if you're watching this, he's the only red leader that still has Resolve renewed. So he can't just be floodgated to high heaven right now. Like, he
Mhm.
actually can just say no. The Z leader is snapped. It's actually almost a shame, because watching Vegito, they showed that with 2 cards, you could take a set 2 leader and make it meta relevant.
Yeah.
And then just proceeded not to do the same thing with the other leaders that came out. Like, he's head
Yeah.
and shoulders above them. This dude draws 2 and bounces through barrier.
Yeah. It's
Like, it
crazy.
doesn't matter where. Yeah, if you, Lord Slug, nope, get it out of here. The Super Saiyan 4 Broly SCR, nope, get it out of here. Like, it's absurdly powerful, and
Yeah.
it just, the 1-drop and him just bridged all these cards from all these sets together. I would not be surprised if I saw him in finals. I think he's actually Sin is probably the best red deck,
Yeah.
but I think this one does better across the entire field due to its utility off of its leader.
You know what's funny is that this can like run every answer, like literally every answer. Like it can play Dirty Bursts. It could have played obviously, um, Violent Rays, which it kind of took a little bit of a hit, but I think that's more of a sideboard card for the deck now, just depending on what you're going against. But yeah, because hello, what's up?
There's no Sin on here. Sin is in the tier above Nationals.
Yeah, he's just unorbited into it. So it's just
he's in the tier above.
I don't think I can add anything in here as it goes, but I will.
It's fine.
In the final list, I will Photoshop something in there.
Yes, Photoshop Sin in there.
I will
We're
do
talking
that.
about Sin now, and we will Photoshop it in, or we'll talk about Sin last, so you can Photoshop it at the end.
Yes, yeah. That sounds good. Okay, well, Vegito's broken. I don't care what anybody says. It's gonna do well. I don't care. All right. So Janemba, local playable.
Yo, put that. No, that's not Janemba. That's Crit Nemba. I was so happy.
Same thing,
I was
right?
so happy when that wasn't a mill effect.
Yeah. It was cool. It's cool that they did that. You know, obviously they don't want to put mill out there and running amok. But I was happy that they got something for the crit boy. I just don't think this is enough. It's like a very okay card. Like, yeah, sure, you get a little bit more support for the chain. Yeah, sure, you get a couple more autos to extend your plays, but I don't like it. I mean, I'll just put it in locals. I'll put it in locals.
It's hard for me to I'm like, I'm a simple man. I see Janemba not being playable, I rejoice.
Yeah. I'm telling every Janemba player. There's too many Janemba players in the community, by the way. Cam, friggin' everyone. My teammate Alexis. Ugh. All right.
I can make an entire video about why I hate Mill in this game. Continue.
Majin Buu, baby. I would put this in Rogue if it wasn't for all the good red decks, even after the ban list.
Coming from like one of my favorite testing partners, one of my close friends, Amani, he actually topped Nationals last year with Majin Buu. And he can tell you right now, it almost completely came off the back of Sensubin. Like the deck was an extremely aggressive deck. He'd make the 15Ks, he'd make the tokens, he'd be punching your lights out. Without Sensubin, the deck is like stuck on this like Go Tanks level of you have a bunch of 1 to 2 cost plays, and then you're kind of stuck between
those
extending or using, using energy for defense. So it's like, yeah, it's rough right now because without Sensubin being aggressively usable, it's kind of stuck at being a mid-green deck in my opinion. But the leader, the Z Awaken itself does exactly what you want a Z Awaken to do. It's the leader on crack.
Yeah, this is like 2 cards away, just like how Vegito it kind of was. This is 2 cards away from being good. Even post like the red renaissance that we're in right now. That's just me. Like if there was something where like for the turn that you can't remove like some of the boos, or if there's a boo that can't be removed, or something that like hits hard really early. I mean, even barrier, man. Like I guess barrier is probably it. Barriers would be it. But I totally agree. I'll just put this in locals playable for now. G tier. Locals playable.
Thing about the deck.
Yeah. Real bummer. I like both of these guys. This is a really cool card. I really like this card. But the fact that you can only use it on 1 turn, and it's 2 energy, it's like, all right, well, that's whack. And now the previous format definers, right? We have Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. I personally never liked Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, but people have had success with it. I am more closer to Rogue than I am to top 16. I don't think it's a local stack.
So I definitely think it is Rogue. It's if there was a tier between top 16 finals and Rogue, like I think there could be a tier called like clear competitor, and I think SS4 would be in it because I've never respected that deck. I literally hated it, but then again, I was playing U7 Gohan when it was the most popular, so they'd be like,
Mhm.
"Aha, I'm up at this," and I'd be like, "I'm comboing," and they'd be like, "Oh."
Yeah.
But this deck is at a point where it can still ramp, it can still use cards to get above your leader, and then it has some of the scariest end games in the game. Like there's just no way to feel good about getting Rise of the Super Warrior into like
17
whatever
or
else,
Boo
into
or whatever.
into like Kaioken, into like seven. I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah.
no,
There's
like like when that
a
crap
lot of dumb
happens.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, nah. There's nothing worse than just seeing your opponent go up 2 to 3 energy and then untap all their energy and then rip your hand down to 0, and you're just like,
Yeah. I think the deck
like,
I think I think the deck is great when you allow it to do the things that it wants to do, right?
right.
And when it doesn't, it's like, okay, well, I'm kind of a vanilla leader for the most part. And all the cards that I have, the deck is good because of the cards I put in it, right? Not so much of the leader. So that's only when the stuff doesn't really go your way. I personally don't like it. I think people might have some success with it. It's kind of up in the air for me. But there are
I don't
better
like the deck.
there are better blue decks that you should be playing. Is what I'm saying. Like
I can
Gamma.
agree.
Hey, top 16 Gamma, baby. I don't care what anybody says. It got a lot of support from the ban list, in my opinion, not being hit from anything other than Bean, but it really didn't use Bean to, offensively.
Yeah, Bean
You
was
know,
like almost sideable, to be honest. Like,
yeah, a lot of lists don't play Bean. I play Bean still in Gamma, just simply because it's just a good like one or two of. Well, probably just a two of, it really got a benefit from the ban list with Crown being hit a little bit there. So um, I do think Gamma is still up there.
it's interesting. Like when it comes to top 16 finals, I think both Gamma and SS3 they have pluses and minuses to them in the cards that they use. But
Hmm.
it's just it's a little weird because I personally feel like I've always been a little sketch on Gamma in the Zenkai format because dealing with 25k swings is always kind of annoying. Like if you didn't have Realm of the Gods, you just were kind of bleeding from your hand if you didn't negate. But
Hmm.
without Vegeta Resolve Renewed, you're looking at a much better time just not getting blown out because yeah, you can just put your 14. You could use that thing 4 times in a row and then stabilize. Like you have a lot more room to flow with Gamma. I'm just not sure how it's going to run the gauntlet because I think it's going to have some decent matchups versus Red. It
Yeah.
can still use Dirty Burst very very well. Against Vegito, I think it's kind of a weird toss up because it has Dirty Burst, which shuts down Vegito, but Vegito still has access to Resolve Renewed. So there are going to be turns where if Vegito wants to push and you don't have Dirty Burst, you're just going to get pushed.
Yeah.
And then you have I think I could see it in top 16 finals. I would definitely have it as strong competitor. Like if there was that in between, I would have it right there. I'm just
Yeah.
like I
I'm
don't think it's
also
worth
a Gamma sympathizer. I think it is probably in between here. Um, I am probably still in that area. I think it's still a competitive deck that
it.
has
Yeah.
its faults. Let's just put it that way.
Cell is still one heck of a boss card.
Yeah, I like that card. Trunks Vegeta, probably another top 16 finals. Like there's
It's
not
one of the most consistent solid yellow leaders. Like there's
like
not necessarily nothing else to say about it.
yeah, a lot of people just haven't sold this deck just because it's just been just so solid. Like you can just take it anywhere and just be like, okay, well, nothing has really changed, and I still do a lot of cool stuff, and that is yellow, and probably takes control of well, takes advantage of all the yellow cards that are good. One of the
Mm-hmm.
best ways to do it. Plus, I'm still super annoying. I'm still super annoying as a leader. I'm still super annoying, in its recursion, its draw power, and as well as Vegeta and Trucks targets. And if they ever give this support, I think it will be like one of the most completed decks. Like if it got like one or two more really good EX Evolved targets, um, I think people would complain about that deck for sure.
Yep. All yellow needs to ball is a leader that can draw and doesn't require half your deck as a core. If that's all you have, yellow will love you infinitely.
Yeah,
That's all. That's literally all.
yeah. I mean, Yellow has gotten hit over the years enough to be in an okay place, but only because we're just being overshadowed by all these other colors, right? Or all these other
Mhm.
cards. So yeah. What else we got? We got King Piccolo. I think that's still a rogue deck. Um,
You
I
know, the
he-
limiting of Yamcha allowed Piccolo to leave G tier to enter locals playable. No, I'm kidding. I,
what?
I, I
No
think
way! I thought it was the opposite. Like people
Green
are.
King Piccolo is decent.
I think it's fine. I think people said the same thing about the San Diego Regionals, and then it ended up in top 8. So like it's just, I just feel like it is rogue because people just don't consider it to be a good deck. You know?
The only reason why I don't like bank on it is because the best decks are the most consistent, and Piccolo has two battle cards in particular that if you see them, I think it's the big King Piccolo that boosts his allies, and it's the I
Yeah,
think
the one
is
drop.
it the drum or the symbol? Yeah, is it
Well,
the
the
drum or the symbol that boosts his allies as well?
I think it's this. I think it's the drum.
Yeah,
It's
it's
the
like,
two
but
cost drum that you're talking about.
I think so. But both of those cards, they will swing and they will be able to boost. I just think that King Piccolo cannot boost himself.
Yeah,
When you start seeing those cards, your field starts getting stupid. Like your opponent's getting swung at like for 25k like 4 or 5 times.
yeah,
But if you just have like a game where you're seeing every other card but one of those two cards, you just have a bunch of 1 or 10Ks and 15Ks, and your opponent's like, no, I mean,
yeah,
like I guess. So
yeah.
that's the only thing that makes me kind of afraid about it because there's some variance in there. You definitely need to see the field boosters, and then you
Hmm.
can feel oppressive. And without Yamcha, this deck has so much more free reign. You're
Yeah.
not gonna just have them 2 for 1. You just for trying to play the game. But
Yeah.
I'm a little iffy on it. I do want to
I
see it.
I think we more and more we talk about this is like we have to have a tier right between these guys. Like like a, just call it the in between. I don't think add a row above. Oh wait, hold on. Hold on. I'm amazing.
Oh wait a second,
In
we're
between.
out here.
In between.
In
There he
between,
goes. I'm
can we
putting it
make the competitive tier? Can we make the competitive tier?
uh competitive. Like competitive too. I can't
In
spell
between
competitive for
competitive.
competitive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Scrap the entire
Competitive.
thing.
There you go. I got it. We got it. We're there. In between competitive.
All right, got
It's
you,
the
got you.
competitive tier. There you go. I just moved that boy down there. This is probably
I
down
feel
there
you.
as well.
Oh, sheesh.
No, I'm just kidding.
No,
All
yeah,
right,
he
that's
needs to
fine.
be
That's
at least.
fine. That's fine.
All right,
That's
yeah, I
fine.
got you.
All right, that's better. I feel better about this now. There you
You
go.
should probably put Gamma down in Rogue.
Wow!
If these are the tiers,
Wow!
if these are the tiers right now, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fine. That's fine. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
If Gamma gets in the top
He's
16, I'm literally dropping what I'm doing to see how they ran the deck. So I feel like if that's the case,
come
yeah.
on, come on. Yeah, me too. Actually. Hey, we got a new
Rogue.
support card.
Rogue.
Support
Rogue.
card. We got a new support card that everyone's complaining about. I said this before we started talking, and I'm not going to talk about it too long because this video is long already. But I don't believe that. Okay, one, I'm surprised that people are surprised about this or like, wow, this is a problem. This card has been previewed or was previewed like I don't know, almost a month ago. All the anniversary box stuff was previewed that, and it was pretty blatant that that one Z battle card that played an 8 drop pretty much at any time was out there, and it was pretty obvious. And this leader was probably the best leader to do that because you can play in other GoGWR leaders because of the consistency for just jarring cards. That's all it is. So you have a lot of cards to just put in your Z energy, and you can find your 8 drops if you need to. But this was also just played in a less than big tournament.
Less than big.
I don't know how to phrase that. It wasn't in a competitive setting.
You got it. It was perfect.
And we also didn't see it in the Zenkai 77 person tournament we just had. So take that as you will. We don't really have too many tournaments up until Nats that I know of. I don't think. We probably won't see it, and if we do see it, it is probably Rogue. So there you go.
Putting that 100% Rogue tier because I believe if this deck were to see legitimately 3 Sins and 4 Gogetas, and then 2 of any other deck, it would likely end up in top 32, potentially even top 16.
Yeah.
But if this deck just straight up saw Monkey Goku, Trunks Vegeta, Super Saiyan 3, Gogeta, a Sin, a Piccolo, like this deck literally would just fold. Like it would fold. It folds to time. Like it's best turn 2 play folds to time magic. Like you need to stop. Like people are
Yeah.
screaming about an E-ban. I'm like, stop
I
it.
mean, even yeah. I mean, you take away that, or at least you mitigate that. Then you just kind of have like a regular Gogeta deck, right?
Yeah, this is
Um,
a red Slayer.
yeah. And I will say like yeah, it's probably good against Sin just because like Sin's not really doing anything the first couple turns, right? So if they are doing something, you can probably answer it pretty well. Um, and
Aggressin turns a whole bunch of cards sideways, but it's just like red's not supposed to
yeah,
combat with high that early. Like
yeah. And we just got Violent Rage taken out, so like or at least not associated with what this deck is because I think the 8 drop is a 30k, 25k.
yeah, it's like
Yeah,
you got to
pretty
be
sure.
really
Yeah.
careful. I guess when you can go look at this guy's like decklist video, but the thing is, whether you win the die roll, or you lose the die roll, this deck is likely going to try to send about 6 damage to your face from a 35k beater
Mm-hmm.
on that turn.
Yeah.
And then if they see their secret rare, they're trying to put you out. Now, when you go against red, it's kind of dangerous because if you go aggro like Sin can, like Gogeta can, you bring them closer to Awakening, which is only going to benefit them. And when they do beat your face in, really, red doesn't have Violent Rays the way they used to anymore. It's scary. Before you just auto forward it or auto 3'd it. Now you might 2 it with some inside, so you might not
Mm-hmm.
just have this in game one. They hit you for enough, and then the Awakened Leader can discard a red card and stop you from testing. So when you're on 1 energy, this deck can put you down to 2, and then just if they have the secret rare, it's your combo hand versus their combo hand on turn 2.
Which
Their turn 2, your
doesn't
turn
make
1. So
yeah, which doesn't say very much, right? I don't think there's very many things you can do about that.
All your 5Ks are useless. So yeah, it's a red killer.
For sure.
That's it.
Cool. Hopefully it does. So that way we don't see that many at Nats. Hey, Hatchiak.
Don't you dare touch that.
All
I
right.
hate Hatchiak.
Rogue tier, baby.
Yeah,
I only say this because people like Ivo are very, very committed to certain decks. And the reason why Hatch has not really died in the way that we want it to die over time is because of decks that we just talked about and decks that we've been going over. I don't think it really does anything to this deck at its core. I think yeah, I mean even Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta or Goku and Vegeta, I don't really know. I haven't really seen this too much, but yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, the way Hatch is set up, you're not playing against black as a color. You're playing against the floodgate that is Hatch leader. If you don't know how to navigate that floodgate, you're cooked. And actually, even past that, sometimes your deck can just not be well suited. If your deck has a bunch of low cost cards, one of them needs to have dual attack or triple attack, or you're just not going to survive. Like you need to understand exactly what you're doing. Oh, you have a dual attacker that's a 5-drop. Swing with him first, and then swing with your 8-drop because that's how you're going to maximize your attacks. But if you don't know how to play against Hatch, Hatch will literally just bend you over, and you'll never be able to mount an offense, and they'll always have more negates than you have swings, and it just becomes a terrible time.
Yeah.
So that's why it'll forever be in Rogue. Hatch is better the less the other player's awareness of the game is. So it's
it's a bit. I mean, not only that, it's just a bit of a gatekeeper. I don't think it's as strong gatekeeper as it was when it was released and when it was actually in the format and people were expecting it. But when you sit against Hatch and you're like, wow, I haven't played against this in like a year. What do I do? Or if you just like you were saying, if your deck was not built for that, then yeah, you're kind of screwed.
SOL.
Yeah, it's your favorite leader in black. Beerus, hey. You know,
hard rogue. I'm serious. It's so like Beerus is a hard rogue champion, and the reason why I'm going to say Beerus is a hard rogue champion is because Beerus has this special line of play right now where he basically fits. He's everything that you hate about the time rules nailed into one. He will use every one of Blue's battle tricks and their negations to stay alive. He will tap 16 energy about 45 minutes into the round. And then you will know at this moment you have no chance of winning game 2.
I think if that is if everything goes as planned, right? I think at the highest level for Nats, right? At the highest level of Nats, if we're talking about Nats in this sort of respect, I think it's going to be right here.
I use SS4. Rise of the Super Warrior to go up 3.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
It's
And no one's playing
awful.
Trunks anymore, so like, what are they gonna do? Trunks it back? No, they can't. Like, they just kind of have to stare at it. Oh, you get a dirty burst it? Okay, that's fine. I still have a still have a blocker. I'm still getting my energy. But
You let that guy get to 6 energy, and you will cry at how fast they show you 16. It's unfortunate. Rise of Super Saiyan should have. Rise of Super Warrior probably should have been like it's not an okay card, but I can put it in between competitive. It's just
no, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
He's a bubble breaker. You will be sitting here
I'll
going, man, I just need
it's
one
like-
more win, and you'll see Beerus, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah. Well. Hey, better blue deck.
Trash.
No,
Trash.
no
Dane,
way.
I'm sorry.
No
Trash
way. It's
tier.
trash. No way. It's trash.
If Gamma's not in top 16,
No.
Super Saiyan 3 is not.
Super
in
Saiyan
top
3 is not.
16.
Super Saiyan 3 has shown, even after the ban list, I feel like, that it can do decently, and I think it's one of the better blue decks. That's just me. I don't think it's
Gamma supremacy. Untapped 3 Gamma better than untapped. No, I mean,
but Super Saiyan 3 does everything kind of better because you can just play whatever you want, you know.
Can you sell better? I'll tell you what. No,
oh my god. The energy curve and the option. You know what? We're just not gonna put it on the list.
I can no. Put it up. No.
Right.
I definitely have it as Rogue or top 16. Like it could get there. It's definitely the better blue deck. I can get there. I can understand. If SS3 stabilizes, it hurts.
Yeah. It's the thing of what you said about Beerus, where you're like, like when SS3 is in the place that it needs to be, it's really hard to get around it. You know, it's really hard to get around it. I don't think we had any SS3 in the Zenkai Cup. I don't believe. So I can see it not performing well in the top 16. It's just that the previous events, you know,
people knew better. Now that Sin and Gogeta aren't new decks, I think an 8 out of 10 Sin player destroys a 10, 11 out of 10 SS3 player just because those first
I'm putting it down here. We're going over here. Just do this. Do that.
those first couple turns, like where Sin is in doing its worst to you,
yeah,
are really really rough for Super Saiyan 3 in those first couple turns. But yeah,
for sure. Jane's gonna be very mad at you. 7Ku with a 7 in between his name. You know, if Brian Samuel can't do well with the deck, what does it really mean, right?
Fair enough. I flip a coin where you're putting it in places. I'd flip a coin at this point because that deck can also do. Blue's in a really weird space where a lot of their decks are doing the same thing. I think SS3 and Gamma kind of same tempo.
Yeah.
Around what they're trying to do, but also SS4, Beerus, and 7Ku, in my opinion, kind of fit around the same tier. They're all 3 of those decks are those decks where it's like, okay, they're doing normal blue stuff. They're doing normal blue stuff. How much energy do they have? 6. Oh, what just happened? It's 8 now. Oh, wait, wow, whoa, and then it starts spiraling. So blue has like 2 directions from me right now. I guess 3 because I see Gohan up there. Blue has 2.5 directions right now.
I think 7Ku is cool. You know, when you're trying to separate some of these blue decks and just like colors in general, you have to kind of look at like, okay, what does this do better than the others, and why is it special? Why would I take this over whatever else? And how consistent is it? I think there is a little bit of juggling when it comes to 7Ku. You know, I think there is to really optimize it and just to really do what you need to do. You kind of have to see like Zeno Super Combo. You have to see the Beeruses. You have to see the new support. You have to see a couple other things. And some of the Z battle cards are cool. And I also think the Z leader is awesome, but you also have to get there. And does this get there better than the other blue decks? Personally, I don't think so.
I can feel that.
That's it.
I can feel that. I think it'll surprise some people because it can be a very aggressive blue deck, but I don't think it's going to just consistently do more than some of these decks up here.
Sure. National finals. And then we have okay. All right, I'm just fucking with you.
That's G tier. Put Pan in G tier.
Yeah, no cap. No. She's not. She is not. She is not.
The quintessential.
Oh, come on, man.
Good red deck, and all the quintessential good red cards just got shat upon. Like
no way. She plays her own good red cards though. That's why I think that's why she's still good. She's such a solid, consistent red deck. The only inconsistency of it is Awakening, and the only inconsistency is some of the stuff that got hit. You know, you no longer have those things. That's it. You know,
I
and
think
you don't even use Yamcha. You shouldn't be using Yamcha in Pan. Let me
hey,
just put
look,
that as an announcement. Do not
hey,
use
look.
Yamcha in Pan.
No new ruler, no Yamcha. No, like all I know is if Pan before the ban,
Mm-hmm.
before how these red decks changed, I would have put Pan in top 16 finals because I'm like literally Pan is like a better to me. It fit the role that Gogeta BR fills right now,
Uh,
except better. If Pan faced red decks all day, it would just snap them in half all day because it does like most of these red decks were mid-range decks before the ban list, and
mm-hmm.
Pan was just a pure red aggro deck. Like they were over here assembling the Dragon Balls and drawing cards, and Pan's like, no, I'm just beating your face. And, oh, okay, well, yeah, I guess that
Yeah.
happens. But like,
Right.
I'm not so sure. I'd have to see it in action now. To be admittedly, I have not seen a lot of people playing Pan since the ban.
I
I have not.
will agree with you on that one. I will agree
Maybe
with you on
that's
that
just
one.
why I
I
haven't seen it because I just haven't
no
seen it as much.
no. I'm going with you on that one. In between. In between. I don't think it's a locals deck anymore. Come
Oh
on,
no,
you
no, no!
can't
It's got to
do
be
her
above
like that. Yeah, you can't do her like that. I don't think it's Rogue either.
that.
Rogue implies that you're not really expecting it, but it's gonna show up. So I think I mean not even that. It's just like it's not in your wheelhouse. I don't know. Either way,
I could fit it rogue or between competitive. I need to see how it operates now.
yeah. I think this is the top 16
Yeah,
deck.
yeah, put it right up there. That's
I
the.
think it's a
I
very
think
top 16 deck. Yeah.
while Trunks and Vegeta are just very, very, very basic, standard, good yellow deck, Monkey Goku I think is just it's way more archetype. But the amount of barrier rocks, it's a little harder to establish. I've played against it a fair amount in my testing circle. It's a little harder to establish slug in it than it is for like Piccolo, only because this deck doesn't draw, it searches top. But
Yeah.
once it does establish it, everything beside Piccolo is barrier. And so, like,
Yeah.
everything aside of Slug is barrier.
Right.
So it sets up Slug and protects it very, very well, has barrier blockers. It's hard to establish a board versus it because almost anything that goes sideways is probably going to get popped by Explosive Spirit. And then I'll say it again, 3 life versus this deck 6 mana is probably the worst place in the game to be because they will swing on you, they will Z Awaken, they will shotgun, they will Champa, and that is just going to be a straight up take 2 damage, you go down to 1, and then you're staring down a secret rare, and then you look at their energy, and they have 3 energy up. So you're either going to get the secret rare swung on you, and then they'll just hit you with cooler, or if
You can
you're at the wrong life, you're just
yeah.
going to be hit with Mira while you're
Either
at 1 life and tapped out. Yeah, nah.
Mirror, Oolong, Secret Rare. Those are kind of the 3 plus Champas. So like it and Cooler, of course, but they didn't really do anything to Cooler. So they're like, yeah, go ahead and Cooler everybody, please. That's what Ben
Yeah,
is
just
saying.
make them critical, give them double strike with the like. It is the worst place to be. Like almost every time I've been looking at their energy, and I'm just like, dang, I really did get the 3 life, didn't I? Yup. And then you just get blown out.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
So.
Big bummer. Last one, Vegex. Rogue, baby. I don't care what anybody says. Rogue, baby. This woo! Love this
I
deck.
would not be surprised if we see a black deck in top 32 because black still has a lot of assets. It still has a lot of gas. I think that a lot of us have been ignoring black. We just were like, oh, I didn't get any archetypes and it got hit like blah, blah. But like black still has Supreme Kai Negate. Super Saiyan God Trunks has a Floodgate. They're getting a crazy SER. And I don't think a lot of people understand. Like I was saying, when Trunks first came out, I thought we were going to get a black SCR that essentially did the same thing. And what I mean by same thing, not the whole effect, can't predict that, but a black SCR that can be played by from any zone you get it in.
Yeah.
If you warp it, it's playable. You have it in hand, it's playable. It goes to your drop, cool, just warp it. It's playable. And black has never had it, but black is always about milling.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just put your top 5 into your warp and be like, damn, that was my Supreme Kai time. Like that's not happening anymore.
Yeah.
If you run Cumber. So I think Vegex, Super Saiyan God, Trunks, they could both be here. It's not Gogeta.
Yeah.
Gogeta, maybe. I don't even know. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't think people have been playing Gogeta enough. And when they do play it, they just run into stuff like Red Sin or Gogeta and they're like, I don't want to play this anymore. But they haven't like played against the rest of the field. So I do think that. And then of course the last one is the Red Sin, which I will now Photoshop in there.
Nationals finals.
Yeah, national finals. Yeah. I mean, people will probably argue this, maybe this. But that's pretty much it, I think, in this list.
Put Gogeta up in there. I just feel like I feel like Gogeta has more chances throughout the entire 9-10 rounds of nationals to falter than Vegito or Sin does.
Don't tell that to Joshua.
Oh man, look, Joshua can know that. Joshua should know that. I'm sure somebody on Universe Z has been clapping cheeks with Sin. Like, I'm sure of it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll keep it there. I think this is not too bad. I'm sure people will skip to this part to kind of see the tier list, but I'll try my best to put everything as far as what we talked about and when. And of course, if you want to make your own tier list, I'll put the link in the description below. So that way you can make your own. You can prove me wrong or have the predictions, because we're not all fortune tellers. So this is not accounting for the people playing the decks either. So like Tim Palacios on Pan, or Dane on Super Saiyan 3, or any of the Cali boys on the known decks like Trunks and things like that. We don't know any of that. And Nationals is going to be a very fun place. Let's put it that way. We don't know.
If Gohan goes top 16, I will assemble the entire deck and get into the very next Zenkai Cup with Gohan. I will eat my words.
If it gets to top 16, the new blue Gohan.
If the new blue Gohan gets to top 16, I will eat my own words and I will sleeve it up the very next event and I will play it, despite how much I already feel like it's risky.
Yeah,
it's risky.
I agree with you. We will see. We can't put everything in Rogue though, so we,
yes, we can.
No, we can't. No, we can't. No, we can't. No, we can't. I think we're good on this. If you have any questions, comments, dislike, check out Mr. Chris himself at his hopefully pronounced correctly channel UniXVS.
Oh yeah, he definitely corrected it. You know what? Why can't we have another slug? Look, slug deck, slug leader, in between competitive. Slug 3-drop, top 16 finals.
No. I mean, yeah, but no. Either way, this is a long video anyway. We'll see you in the next one. If you don't have anything else to say, right?
Make sure you subscribe to Stage 0. Duh.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like the video, comment on it so it trends, so the algo respects us as the kingly people we are. Or so we tell ourselves every morning in the mirrors to hype ourselves up for the day. Depression is serious. Talk to your therapist if you have.
Jesus Christ. We will see you guys in the next one. Bye.